Hello there. Welcome to That's No Moon, a Star Wars Legion podcast, episode 52 and bits. My name's Cockles, and I'm your host for the day. And today we are joined by a usual man who likes to hunt for canines around the borders of Peterborough, and a man who I'm going to suggest maybe doesn't. Well, I don't know. He may do. I'm going to introduce the regular first, just by saying this. I have no need to say that he eats Bluey anymore because everyone knows that he eats Bluey because Bluey, as we all know, is made of consistent Australian blue food colouring. Andy Terrell, how are you doing?
Felt a lot better for sure.
Good. And you know what? I've got a great joke for you. If you weren't feeling very well, who do you go see?
It's got to be a doctor, right?
And here he is.
Emergency! Paging Dr. Beat! Emergency!
We've brought along a medical professional who is also a Legion professional. His name is James Whiting, and he is the winner of not one but two GTs this year. James Whiting!
Hello. Thank you for having me on.
All the way down from Somerset.
Somerset.
Somerset. Obviously, I'm going to put a little shout out because he was here, but for technical reasons, he is now not here. But Evan, we do love you. We miss you. And you could have had some really good medical talks here, and you would have been able to hear another really cool intro in like. Doctor, give me the news. But no. Technical issues for Evan Paul meant that he could not be here, but we will still discuss his Wookiee list because he's very proud of it, and so he should be. Today's show is all about the Republic and democracy and how Obi Wan Kenobi can fight for it and how Anakin Skywalker thinks it should only be his. But in the meantime, we have many people to thank. James, thank you. You're one of them. You're one of our Patreon supporters.
I am, yes. I joined as soon as Andy invited me on the podcast.
You did. I was going to say, when James, because Andy invited you and he went, "Oh, James should be on," and I got this notification saying, "James has joined the Discord." I was like, curious.
What happened there?
So yeah, but it continues with our tradition of having people who are our Patreon supporters on the show now and again, and to talk about the great things that you play and the great events and all this sorts of stuff. But also, many thanks to you guys, because without you, I'm pointing to whoever you want to is listening or watching. Without you guys supporting us, it's hard to do what we do with the sponsorship kits and videos and all this sorts of stuff. And just a big thank you. And if you're more interested to know what things are coming up, you can head over to our social media pages where we will let you know what's going on. Sometimes we do the odd birthday post and all that sort of stuff. And yeah, it's good fun. On the video front, Jack's been busy. As we mentioned last time in the show, Asmodee sent us some free product that for us to sort of give away and do whatever we wanted to do. And so Jack has started his painting videos of how to paint Rebel sleeper cells and the Riot Squads from the Empire. And we will also be giving away a Bad Batch squad as well. So that's not today. That's probably going to happen on the Christmas show because, it's Christmas. Season of giving, all that sort of stuff. So stay tuned. In the meantime, Republic. We're going to discuss lists. We're going to discuss, like we have in our previous with the Rebels and Empire. This is the Republic's turn. Now, obviously, the Republic had a how should we put this politely? It had the arse nerfed out of it recently, and probably had the correct balance tuning that it needed. It needed it in some places. It indirectly hit other things when it didn't needed it, but that's what happens when points change. But James, what we'll do is start with yourself because you won a GT, and that technically makes you better than Andy and me. So fire away. What is your list? Actually, you know what? Tell us a bit about yourself first.
Oh yeah, we forgot that. Right, so I've recently qualified doctor. Unlike Evan, who's been doing it for ages now. I qualified in August, so I've been in the emergency department for the last 4 months. It's been hard, been stressful, but I'm moving on to bigger and better things in neurology soon. So it's 8 to 5. I can't wait. But yeah, I've been playing Legion for about 4 years now, mainly in Wales. Big up, 5 Stormtroopers while I'm here. Don't appreciate that. But yeah,
I didn't know
that's
that was
me.
right.
I'm living in
Firestorm
Sweden.
Troopers.
Yeah, 5 Stormtroopers, definitely. We've got our own shirts now as well.
Cool. And you've been playing Legion for what was it? These are a few
4
years.
years. 4 years
Oh.
since 2020. Yeah.
And look at that. He's only been playing half the time I've been playing. One a GT ahead of me. That's not bitter about that at all. But there we go. Anyway, yes. So that's cool. So the list you played at Cardiff. Tell us a bit about it. Who inspired it and what's in it, and then we'll go into tactics. Please.
Definitely. So who inspired it? Well, I'd like to think I inspired him first, but it's Matt Haslam, of course. We got chatting after the recent MKGT about his list, which he was 4-0 at the time. He was telling me about how Kenobi's still good. I was like, is he? Because, everyone's on the Anakin train. I just played him with Commando. I knew it was good, but I was like, I'm just gonna go to Anakin because he's the new hot stuff. But yeah, Matt went 6-0 in that tournament. I was like, right, let's copy that. And then so I started playing a similar version to his list, and then with a points deduction of about 100 points, I had to try and drop a few things, and I think he had a few medics in there, dropped them, and then just went for a strike team instead of full arc. So it's very similar to his list. He was definitely the inspiration.
Did you ever try the saber throw approach that he ran?
I do try it. I think it is the way to go, honestly. Definitely.
Really?
100%. 100%. Mainly because now how standbys work, the saber throw is an even better alternative because, you can't activate charge at the moment outside of your activation. So saber throw is just a good way to get a shot in there with that particular card.
I also think it's also it's nearly kind of now guaranteed minimum two. Well, it's guaranteed nearly 2 wounds these days.
But what are you dropping over that though? So you're still taking barrier and saber throw?
Yeah, so I'll go through my list so people know. So
I think that probably helps.
So it's Obi-Wan with Force Barrier, Saber Throw, and Aggressive Tactics. It's 5s with a DP23 and Environmental Gear on a normal clone squad, and 2 Naked Core. ARC Troopers with Clone Commander, ARC Troopers with Clone Commander and a DC-15X, and then a Strike Team with DC-15. And then it's got 3 Clone Commandos with HQ uplinks, so 10x and 1,000 points. So, sorry, what was the question again? You have to take.
It was just the what was the force power choices when you're taking saber throw? But obviously,
yeah, I think you need barrier with Obi-Wan. It complements Guardian well because you can just negate 5 hits just like that. With saber throw, it's just a bit of a threat range as well. So you've got a range 2 threat bubble, so you can just take a standby on Obi-Wan even outside of his 1 pip, and that would just stop anyone from trying anything silly.
So I've got a thing from our game. It's like,
go for it. No, I like this hot take. Go for it.
Yeah, no. So when you placed Obi where you did, and then you started placing units around him.
Yeah, I remember. Yep.
Was any of the reason for you putting your clones near Obi to provide backup? Or was it just to be within Guardian range?
It was. It's a brand new change. I did forget about backup.
It's a good thing you forgot about it because you can't use it.
Yes, exactly.
But I didn't forget about it.
Oh, no, you didn't. No.
I was like, I've got to shoot them to turn off backup. Because
And then I think you definitely made a mistake by stopping shooting them to start shooting Obi-Wan. I was like, if you're going to start shooting Obi-Wan, I'm happy with that.
The intention was to shoot Obi in our game.
Okay.
Because where you placed him, I was like, if I can punish that, I think that'd be great. But it's when I stopped shooting Obi to shoot the others to put suppression on them to turn backup off. I was like, I don't need to because you can't back up Obi because he has Guardian and therefore.
Yep.
So I was like, damn it! There was just in hindsight, it was like this. I think this was on the drive home. So several days later after we played, I was like, damn it, there were shots I could have had at Obi.
I definitely did forget. I think we both forgot some rules in that game, definitely. But
it
then
helps
when
if you remember what the secondary is.
What, sorry?
It helps if you remember what the secondary is in that game.
Well, I don't even remember what it was. What was it? Go on, tell me.
I can't remember what it was, but I remember thinking, I remember knowing the whole way through it, going, "Oh, we're playing Bring Them to Hill," and then I was like, "Oh, I'll just panic at Obi. I'll panic him, and then."
Oh yeah, we were playing Sweet.
Yeah,
yeah, that was it. Yeah,
yeah, that was a whoopsie on my front for sure.
Yeah. We did some silly things that game. I won't lie to you.
So for context, for those of you who weren't in the know, James and Andy played each other at the same GT, where James won and Andy, where did you come? This isn't a knock. I just wondered, I can't remember where you came.
Sorry, excuse me. 16th, I believe.
There you go. Still top 16. It's all good. What were you running?
I was running Iden.
Were you running the list we spoke about on the show when we did the Empire stuff? Oh, okay, cool. There you go.
Pretty much.
Cool. Back to James though, because he's the star of the show today.
Oh yeah.
So tell us what works well for the list. Tell us what is its potential flaws if you haven't sort of planned around, if that makes sense. So what works well?
Right, what works well? So you've got Guardian and you've got Barrier. So there's a lot of defensive tech there, and Obi-Wan could just sit at range one of your army and absorb a load of shots that are meant for other units. You know, you can't. He basically stops any unit from getting one-shotted in a game where lots of things get one-shotted. So that's also a pro. So so that's a positive. It's very much attritional. He will keep most of your guys alive for the first 3 rounds while you're doing, while you're getting receiving plink damage. However, he also allows with, your commandos, the arcs, you can do the plink damage and you can just take it. So it keeps your attrition. You basically don't lose anything in the first 2 turns, and your opponent will start to lose a few units because you've got commandos with high velocity, you've got strike teams. So you basically, it's hard. You have to be really slow, methodical, but you get there. And you've just got loads of power left for turns 3, 4, and 5, where you can start moving your arcs up. You can move your commandos up to range 2, and you can start punishing the enemy when they try to close to you. So that's the pro. You just attrition, basically. All of my games were attrition. I had some very close games because I spent most of the time, positioning, absorbing shots. So a lot of them came down to kill points in the end, but I didn't really have too many losses in terms of units, mainly because Obi-Wan's just guarding him. You're activating him after he's used barrier to get barrier back, etc. So that's the pros.
For those people who haven't played much Kenobi since the change, tell us how Sarisu's changed these days. Because obviously it used to be you spend a dodge, you gain all these sorts of stuff. So tell us how Sarisu works and why. Is it better now for him or is it not?
It's amazing now. It's amazing. So Sarisu works when he gets shot, you basically get to re-roll the entire dice pool once. You don't have to spend a dodge, you just get to do that. So whatever dice pool it is, if you're not happy with the result at the start, you just get to re-roll it, which is huge. So you don't
have to spend a dodge or anything with that, you just roll it.
Nope, you just re-roll. So if it's 10 dice, you blank out on all of them. Oh, it's fine, I'll just re-roll them all. And then hopefully he doesn't die. And then, of course, Sarisu works with Guardian. So if a friendly unit at range 1 and line of sight is defending against a range attack, he can take 3 hits onto himself with Guardian and roll those dice. And if he's not happy with the result, you can spend a dodge if you've got one to re-roll the results. And you take the second result for both of those.
So there is also the risk that you
do worse. Yeah.
Do bad. Too bad. Yeah. So and in your games, has that happened?
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah, it happens where everyone takes 3 wounds. It's fine. I'll just re-roll them, and then no, he takes 3 wounds. So it doesn't work all the time. But you've got deflect active for the most part, unless you're playing against Andy's list, where you can always get your surge conversion. So interest with my list, aggressive tactics is always it just keeps Obi-Wan alive when you can't use deflect, because you've always got a surge on you. So hopefully you don't need to use more than one surge, but there you go. It's another way to get around the high velocities stuff.
That's cool.
So
That makes sense.
Yep.
Yeah.
It definitely helps.
Yeah.
So you said about attrition and keeps you healthier through the game.
Yes.
What else works well for it?
What else works well? Just for Obi-Wan or just for the list itself?
The list in general. The list in general.
Well, I think the 5s unit is very important, because if Obi-Wan does die, you've got a courage-free commander who can take over, which is very important. I think, he offers a lot just from another unit that can charge with Pierce. Pierce and melee is so good. And you've got 2 full squads of arcs that I could just run in there, charge and murder something. So it's got lots of different ways it can defeat different lists. It's very well balanced. You've got enough impact to kill armor, you've got enough range to kill any gun line, and you've got enough units in melee to melee stuff. So you've got an answer for everything really in the list.
What are its, if you were willing to give them away,
happily.
Flaws. No, flaws isn't a word. The things it struggles. I don't know. I'm trying to think of the right word.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do.
It's not negatives. It's still because it's winning things. So what's its drawbacks? There you go.
It's 10 activations, and one of them's a strike team. So, and 2 are naked core. So again, they're 3 activations that are quite easy to kill. If they're not around Obi-Wan. So you need all those 3 units around Obi-Wan. Otherwise, they just get one shot. Mm-hmm. Obi-Wan is still terrible in melee. He's so bad. So you try and keep him out of melee, even when there's Force users who want him in melee. You just run him away. You just bring him out of melee again and just run him away, because he doesn't hit very well in melee at all.
Is he better or worse than Fleets in melee?
Well, it's very difficult because Fleets are.
So is it worth in your list? I'm just playing games around in the thing.
Yeah.
Is it worth almost dropping the strike team to beef up the other squads, maybe with either medics or the naked squads, or medics or a couple of heavies? Is that a trade off that you've ever considered or thought about? Because you're taking those.
Yeah.
If you take the strike team off, for example, which is what's that, 50? What's that, 64 points?
64, I think, or 62,
something like that. So you can 63. You could put on 2 medics and 2. You could definitely put on 2 medics and 2 heavies. So the 2 wounds that you lose on the strike team, you gain 2 wounds on the medics, and then the extra 2 wounds that you're healing. So have you ever thought about that? And if not, why not? And Andy, would you do that? Is it something to consider? What do you reckon?
I think it's something that I've considered, but I just don't think 9-axe is competitive enough in a list which doesn't have enough punch. Like, I suffered a lot with punch in this list. There's not a lot that can kill large activation units, and I'll tell you about a game of the Ewoks, but that was crunch time. It was really difficult because it doesn't have a lot of firepower compared to the Anakin list, where Anakin just can run off and kill stuff. So I think losing another act is going to be very difficult, especially when I want to play standing orders for turn 1, just to be able to get ahead of the activation game. I think with 9-axe is difficult. The medics are fine, although in all of my games, Obi-Wan never died. So I didn't think, Obi-Wan needed it this much. So I did consider it, but I think since the tournament, I'm quite happy with the 10-axe and the naked core, because they're just going to provide tokens. That's all I use them for. They sat, in the middle of the army and just took an aim and a dodge. Really boring, but that's what they did.
I was going to ask if you missed the medics since the points changes, because I know Matt was running it with 3 medics originally stuff. So
it's difficult. 20 points now is hard.
It is, but I imagine based on your comment just now, it's like you don't need it if Obi never died. But then, would you have spent it previously on bringing back commandos instead? Then,
yeah, potentially. I think the commandos also don't die in this list. I mean, no one. If you're going to shoot the commandos, it kind of needs to be a concerted effort, because otherwise they're just going to spend Catan, take one guy. And if they're at range of Obi-Wan after that, you've still got Guardian 3 and Barrier. And the next big dice pool. and subsequent dice pools shouldn't kill them. So I do see if medics were cheaper, I think I may have one in there, but I just think with 20 points, I just don't know if it's worth it anymore.
Yeah, that's
I'd
fair.
have to try it.
The other option is also you just stick a Fluttercraft in there. Why not? I mean, that or the other option I was just looking at, because you said about struggling against Ewoks and AT-RT with a flamer, but you need to find 13 points to.
Commanders are just too good. They're just too good. Nothing's going to stop me from dropping them right now.
No, I'm not saying. I didn't say dropping the commandos. I was on about the strike team and find 13 points somewhere. But that's just a suggestion. But that was just me, like looking around and thinking, oh, what if you did this and what if you did that? Because that's my job to suggest things.
Was Cardiff before the points change?
Cardiff was after. Points change was
after the first GT after the points change.
Yeah, it wasn't much. It was about. We had to submit it like the week of the points change, didn't we? The list.
The Hempstead one was literally the week of, and then he had that was the one, and then he had Cardiff the other day.
And he's now frozen.
He's back. He's back.
Oh, he's back.
Don't jinx it. Don't jinx it.
No.
Cool. So, memorable moments from your games. Give us 2 positives and 2 negatives that made you go. 2 positives make you go, heck yeah, and then two negatives that made you go, oh shit. So, yeah.
2 positives.
2 good, 2 bad. To quote Match of Day 2.
Oh, it's difficult. I enjoyed playing Andy. I really wanted to play someone from That Snow Moon again. I enjoyed playing Andy. Really, really nice game. That was definitely positive. And
so
of course,
just on that, you're down. So you played Andy. You played. Who's the other one you played? Is it Jack or Ollie or Tom?
I played Ollie at the MKGT.
Cool. Okay. So you've just got me, Jack. You've got me, Jack,
2-0 against us, I believe.
I am.
Ooh.
I want to face. I want to face Jack. I want to face Tom. Yeah,
so you've done the 2 easy 2, and ironically,
exactly. These are giving
you're going to lose to the next 2.
I know. This is how it's going to be now. I mean, the others are going to stomp me. It's going to happen.
You haven't played me? Did you mention me in there? Then?
Of course. It's fine. Yeah, have we not played?
No.
Oh, there's 5 of us, isn't there? Yeah, I forgot about you, Cockles.
No, I only do all the bloody work. Yeah. So anyway, so 2 good, 2 positive. So it's fun playing Andy, as if that was a positive.
That's one of his negatives.
And next.
I think I really enjoyed playing my last game. Unfortunately, a few guys had to drop. I was hoping to face Lila or someone like that maybe, but unfortunately, I think with the weather conditions, she had to leave early. So I think she was a contender to go at least either winner or second place. I think that's a negative. But I played a really nice Ewok player called Joe in the final game, and he gave me such a hard time of it. It was a really good list. It really got me thinking a lot about wanting to play them, and I may have bought a load of Ewoks now.
Nice.
Just because I love how they work. They've got so many nice interplaying parts, and that's why I love Kenobi, just because he's so intricate. So I really enjoy playing Ewoks, and it made me want to play them myself. There's too many highlights. I just love the community. I mean, I love playing games against people. So
love the community. That is the correct answer. That's because I think
ding ding ding
ding ding. You've passed. You can come back again. So that's your list. Would we like to look at other people's clone lists? So should we look at?
While we're still on Cardiff,
go on, Cardiff, go on.
Because obviously, I did go as well. I didn't do nowhere near as good as James. But I thought the overall atmosphere, everyone was great. Everyone was really welcoming. Because obviously, a lot of the guys have most of them have travelled up out of the area. So I've known a few of them before, like Wayne and Jose, obviously, who was running it. I met you before, James, Andrew as well. I'm trying to think who else off the top of my head I'd met. Paul Buller, obviously. And that was kind of it. So it was a really small group of names that I knew. But then there were so many people who came up to us and was like, "Oh, it's lovely that you've come over here," and everyone was really welcoming. And every game that I had was really fun. I think, especially against Matt as well. I think he was saying me and him were talking about how Krennic should be painted up like Quella Deville. Because for some reason we thought he was a smoker, and I was like, yeah, but if he is a smoker, he's not a cigar smoker. He's like a cigarello smoker. So, and then I was like, well, he's got a white cape, so it's not going to take me much effort to just paint some black dots onto the back of his cape, which then obviously fits perfectly with me running Krennic as well. So that's definitely going to happen.
If you do, you need to run around with the song going, awesome Krennic, awesome Krennic. If he doesn't get you, his suppression bomb will, that sort of thing.
So like that game was really tense, but really hilarious at the same time, as we're laughing the whole way through. But then, like, is it Morgan Goodfield?
Oh, Morgan,
yeah,
Morgan. Well, he's not known really, but
well, no, but yes. So I want to give him a shout out because he did tell me he listens. I don't know how old he is. I think it's like 13, 14, if I remember. If I asked him, I think he's about the same age as my son. And he does listen, so I try to keep our swearing down to a minimum these days. Now I know that our younger audiences,
more and more small people listen to our show, and I feel like we have to be really, really behaved.
But it was great because after every game, he'd come up to me and he'd want to tell me about his game and how he did. He was, it really was really nice to have that as obviously a listener. And he went 3-3, which I think is really impressive for a kid that age. Good. Yeah, and like some of the players in that field as well. If you looked at the event beforehand, like the top 8 players were like 500 ratings. Then it was like another 8 players with 400 ratings, and then there was like 100-point difference between like 20 players and below, and then there was 8 players who'd never played a game of Legion before who went to that GT. So there's a very big mix of players, and for him to come 3-3, I think is quite a testament to him and his dad. I assume he plays with a lot.
So, him and his dad come down like I'd say nearly every week. Yeah, both of them come down and arrange games. And, they're both really, really lovely people, great players.
On that note, then, if you are the father of is it Morgan? What's his surname? Sorry,
Morgan Goodfield. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
If you're Morgan's dad, and Morgan, if you're listening, can you get in contact with Andy or myself and stick us over your address, and we'll send you over a little dice bag, token bag. Excuse me, not dice bag, because that's pretty cool. Because that'll be fun. I've got some, and if you're listening, Paul Buller, yours got lost in the post. I'll send you another one. It's fine.
You keep saying that, Paul. I know he says
I've got a collection at home.
Funny because I do have a collection at home. But no, it's all good. But anyway, that's cool. No, it sounds like it's a really cool event.
I think the only and then also Toby as well for a shout out.
Oh, Toby,
never met the lad before. Had a great conversation with him all weekend about list building, about the podcast, about his list, and how he had James in his pocket. Is like, the Obi list doesn't scare me.
I love that.
Yeah. I was talking to him. I said to him, "What out of all the lists you've got to face?" I think when it was like you, him, trying to think who the other top 2 was left. Like when there's 4 of you left, and I was like, the Ewok player was undefeated, and Paul maybe.
Paul.
But it was like
Paul came second, so it must be Paul.
No, because obviously they played a 6 rounder, so second place gets a little bit weirdish. But he was like, I think he said the only one that worried him was maybe Lila was undefeated at that top point as well. So I think he was like, Lila's probably the only one because it's a little bit different. And then he was like, don't care. I'm not worried about the OB because I was like, what about James's list?
I love that.
So balls. He's got balls. But good player as well. A lot of confidence to back up the list. So everyone there was a great laugh. Everyone was amazing. And I recommend anyone to go to Cardiff. Jose did a really good job. And Gwaine was bored out of his mind, but I think he still did a good job of TOing.
It's like, come to Andy's right here. Let's just get
There were so many times, especially during the first game, where someone would shout consular and my body would just automatically twitch. And especially if people were next to me, it's like, oh, as you say, like, oh, Andy's there. Like, oh, okay, yeah, what's the problem? Like, I'm not.
I'm going to put it out there then. So if you're at an event and you call consular, you don't need calling. No, hang on.
No.
If you are at an event and someone calls consular, don't respond. Next time you're running an event, everyone needs to just go, dog muncher.
No, like I don't want to say like I don't care. Like I got annoyed by it. Like that, it's completely the opposite. Like everyone always, if they saw us in the middle of my game because I'm playing, not running, which is like different, they'd always go, Andy, do you mind? And I was like, no. And I could probably, most of the time, I'd listen to them while doing my movement tool or rolling my dice or whatever. Because I think it probably happened in our game, James. And then I'd shout my answer at them while I'm doing our game. Yeah. So proper multitasking. So if I was in a point where I can't double concentrate, because I need to concentrate on my game, then I'm just going to say go and speak to a consular. And there was 1 or 2 times I did say it. I'm like, oh yeah, I haven't got the time to pull up the exact rule reference for you. Go and get Jose to do it. It should be at this page, and I'd even shout out a page number as well. Yeah, things have got that bad in life.
It's because you're a little bit of a nice guy. It's fine.
But good event, great event all round. Really enjoyed it.
Well done.
Yeah, guys. They did great.
Bravo, Cardiff. Bravo. You kind of jumped ahead. I was going to talk about that at the end of the section on the Republic list, but that's fine. So that's cool. So we should talk about other people's lists.
Mm.
Yeah,
go for it.
Let's go with Evan Paul's list because he really wanted to share the list with his Wookiees. I will call it out. Andy, James, you can then offer your analysis afterwards. So it is 11 activations at a bang on 1,000 points with a Wookiee chieftain with Seize Initiative. It's the clone. It's the battle force, by the way, for the Wookiee battle force. Then it's a clone infantry with the shotgun. Arcs with Commander and Scopes, Wookiee Warriors with Bowcaster and Recon Intel, then 4 squads of Wookiee Warriors, the Noble Fighters, so the melee Wookiees with the Battle Shield, and then triple Fluttercraft with the NAS Gunner, which is the one that does rear facing, Impact 1, Pierce 1, 2 red, 2 black, range 1, 3, and emergency transponders. The command cards are... well, he hasn't put them on there, but let's just go. All the ones that go... all the ones I want. So, Andy, thoughts on the Wookiee list and where it sits in the world of today?
It's one thing... It's hard because there's 2 lists that I wish I could run. And I don't because I don't own the models. And it's both Wookiees and Ewoks, and both of them have been mentioned tonight. And it's because of like this list with the Fluttercraft's a part of it, the flexibility of the melee, but then if the opponent's list out melees you somehow, then you can still use the melee Wookiees to shoot, because they're just as effective at doing that as well. Like it's flexible, or it's range 2 limited, but they're still quite good at it. And if, as I say, if somehow they out melee you, not quite sure how, but maybe if they're all ARC troopers, and you just want to shoot them and not punch them, then it's got that kind of threat to it. I was just trying to figure out why C's on the chieftain, and I know he said.
Is it for the 1 pip?
Yeah. So he mentioned that when I was listening to him on Scoundrels, and they were talking about this pre-points update.
On what?
So you can only order the Fluttercraft or Special Forces is 1 pip for the Wookiees.
Yeah, the 1 pip can, when a friend unit is when a friend unit is issued an order by the commander, so it can only go to Special Forces or the support. If it is wounded or has more, or one of its minis has been defeated, it gains 1 aim, dodge, and surge. So how does that play in with this?
I think it gives him perfect order control, because then he can give an order to because every other turn he'll give an order to the commander and flutters probably, and then he's got again perfect order control as best as he wants.
You can't. I don't think you can, because if you give it to one
He's got 3 flutters, hasn't he?
Yeah, so
he's got triple flutter. So
it's not. I mean,
No,
assuming
yeah.
assuming they're not alive by then.
This is true.
But I suppose it's you give one to a flutter that you want to activate straight away. You seize on the commander, so in your bag is just special forces. Oh, he's got a core in there now as well.
Core, yeah, so you'll have the core. So it's not perfect, but I'm just trying to think if there's anything.
I think he used to have, like, I guess he must have previously, but.
Indomitable, duelist charge scale. I'm trying to think if there's anything it does. Oh, it's got a hell of an. It's got Kenobi's lightsaber without the
commander an aim, dodge, and a surge. I'm struggling to see the use of C's.
That makes sense because when a friendly is issued an order by the commander, but you can't. That doesn't make sense because if it's seizing initiative, he's not issuing an order to himself.
You are.
Are you? So if it gains.
He's a Wookiee.
Aim, dodge, surge.
If he's wounded, yeah.
So potentially that's how that works then, if that's what you're looking for.
But yeah, I mean, it's probably the only thing I don't understand, and it'd help if he was here. But the clone trooper infantry, a nice little change.
I was just having another card. I think with that 1 pip, you could basically get to give it to 2 units, get the effect.
Yeah,
I think that's kind of the vibe there. So
you give one to the commander and one to
wounded, and it'll be one of the Wookiees or the flutter. So you basically, you get 2 for the price of 1 with that card. Yeah, fine.
So I think there's a lot of nice flexibility in it, and I think with 11 acts and the way Doc was talking about with playing the fluttercrafts, where you want to kind of control them as late as you can on the earlier turns, so then you can dive on your opponent's weakest point, but you kind of dive in a weird right angle-ish way. Actually I haven't got a movement stick to hand, but like when you come out of and do a right angle turn, your base will end up
you drifting
in the side arc. And then you've got reposition, so you do a 9. So if your opponent's in your side arc when you finish your move, when you get your free reposition at the end, you can then shoot them at your rear. So that's your compulsory move. If you know you can escape safely with 1 move, then you could you shoot and then you attack, move away, and you basically can end up pretty much where you started. Especially with a speed 3 compulsory, and then you could do a speed 2 or speed 3 back to where you started, essentially.
Very X-Wing.
It is like, if you like X-Wing, then yes, flying a flutter is quite. But being able to slow yourself down or speed yourself up with the he has got them ones, hasn't he? He's got the speedy explode up ones.
I assume so. If it's the battle force, I assume so.
Then it gives you that nice little flexibility in that how you play them and how safe you keep them as well. So
attack run increase or decrease its maximum speed by 1 until the end of the activation.
There's quite a lot of flutters at Hemel. I think there's like 6 or 9 of them. So there's 2 or 3 Wookiee battle forces. So.
I do feel like every single Wookiee battle force has to have triple flutter there at the moment. I just can't see the Wookiees themselves carrying a Wookiee list, because I just think there's a problem with the actual Wookiees themselves. They're just not strong enough in this current game where they can just still get one-shotted. Because you used to play Wookiees loads. You used to be so reliant on cover taken 2 all the time. Yeah. The small dice pools never used to get you. It's like, fine, I'm always in heavy cover, it's fine. But now, you might get 1 Wookiee in, which is not enough. So I've struggled with them. I can see why he's got, the full, 12 wound squads with the battle shields, because I think that's the only way to run them. I think running the, just the naked ones, which I used to do all the time, you can't do anymore. I just don't think that's
I think you just got to pile in onto the objectives of two or 3 squads, because your opponent can probably kill a squad off a POI. So like turn 1, you'll just double move up behind a line of sight blocker as best you can. I've not played with the list, so it's hard to know. But this is how I would play it if I owned the models. So like turn 1 is all about just positioning and getting onto the board, ready to pounce onto the POI's turn 2 to score. because if your opponent tries and scores them, then if you position yourself correctly on turn 1, you should be able to charge them.
Yep.
So you just kind of go early with the stuff that you don't want to charge with, and get them in a better position for turn 3, and you just kind of set yourself up that way the whole way through, I think, and kind of set a bait, I guess, is it? But
I think you definitely want to be playing breakthrough and anything that splits up an enemy's force, 100%. And I think you've got to be very happy with, very lucky with terrain, having loads of line of sight blockers. You know, the American tables, I think you will struggle. There's just not enough cover. You need at least a few squads behind permanent line of sight blocker, I think, if you wanted to get them in.
Yeah, I think that's probably the biggest issue with the list, is maybe the terrain is the biggest factor in the list, not the actual like opponent that you face or anything like that.
Yeah, I think I'd agree with that.
Yeah.
Also, I think the arcs could do with a sniper. Having a bit more range pierce in that list might be a bit more balanced, because you've got lots of melee threats, and the arcs are basically just no melee threat with the commander.
He has got a bowcaster unit in there, though. It's got one unit of shooty works.
Yeah,
which is very expensive. 111 points.
So expensive. And they don't have scout. It's like, oh god.
No. He's paid for recon intel on that one unit, which makes sense. Yeah,
it's rough.
But
I think in my ideal world, I love Wookiees. I've got a beautiful painted army up there. And I'm just so sad that they don't have any recon or anything to get them on the table, because they just need it. They need something. They need a bit of love, either a reliable one. They just need something. But I just don't think they're going to get it.
No. It's weird, because because we've got the list open, I'm looking at whatever options you can take in the battle force, and it's all weird. I mean, Yoda's no point ever taking now.
No, not at all.
Chewie makes sense because he's slightly cheaper than the Chieftain. And then you've got a Bark, okay, the ISP, and then the tank. Like
the tank is the tank.
The tank.
Why is the tanking there? The tanking there?
I think it's the best one I've seen. I think it was Dennis last year, from Germany. He's converted all of his Barks to have Wookiee riders on them.
That's cool.
Yeah, so he had Barks riding on his. So it's a whole
Barks.
Yeah. So
that's very cool. I think the saber tank's an interesting thing, because it's a big line of sight blocker. You just hide a squad or two behind that. So that's interesting as a play potentially.
Is it worth 155 points?
No, it's not. I'd say it was good. Yeah, I think the battle force needs a bit of love.
I mean, you could take the ISP and it'd be. It doesn't block line of sight, does it, for a silhouette?
It does, doesn't it?
It blocks it, but I don't think the model's tall enough.
No, it's a very short model. It's not a tall model at all.
Yeah. I'm also looking. Mine's somewhere in my pile of shame.
Yeah, like, well, what is that?
But yeah, I think the ISP's model is technically not tall enough, and that's probably what the issue is with that. But yeah,
it's not. It's not tall. No, I don't think it is. I've got two of them for some strange reason.
Yeah, that was a bad investment.
It wasn't, because they were £12. It's actually. It was like.
I think it does.
Yeah, you could be right.
I think you're right. It does block. You've got loads of. It does.
That's 65 points. That's a lot cheaper than a saber tank.
And it's got that beam that may or may not be good. I don't know yet.
Hang on a second. I'll tell you how much an ISP is when you've kitted out. An ISP, when you've got the twin beam, is 103 points.
I don't need it. If you're literally just bringing it for a line of sight blocker,
this is true,
that's
65.
it.
What? Yep. So you just put it, and you're going to have two black dice.
Don't care.
65 point. Why take that? Why not just take an ATRT instead?
It is speed free. It is speed free, and it is quite hard to kill. It might be worth it. It might not be good, but speed free. You double move to a POI, and you've got cover 1 for 7 health.
I'm not against the logic of this at the moment.
On the free.
No, weak point rear sides. No. White saves.
Yeah, but you're bringing it to escort your Wookiees up, and then once it's done that, it just goes off and sits on a POI.
Okay, but what are you? What I feel like I'm being the voice of reason, which is really weird. What are you taking away then to have that? Are you taking away
To
the
fit
to fit that? Are you taking away the fluttercraft?
No, God no.
So there's your first issue.
I think get rid of the core. You get rid of that core.
I think
really,
it's the core.
Better order control that way. Oh, well, not better order control, but the same order control. If you get rid of the core.
I do gloss the Pierce shotgun there. I don't
know. I mean, technically, you could get. Technically, that's only 12 points you need to save. So you could drop some scopes and the recon intel. And there you go. You've got an ISP with one of the weapons. It's not the beam, but any of the other two weapons. And you've got an ISP to walk your Wookiees up behind instead of the clone troopers.
I like it.
I think it's random, and
it's random, and it's
weird. I am dubious.
I'm fully dubious behind it, but I'd love to hear if it works. Because even if it just protects your Wookiees for a turn.
I might try it. I'll try it.
Yeah, do it. Let us know. You can just message me and be like, "That's the worst idea you've ever suggested on the podcast."
I felt like I helped orchestrate it, so yeah, I'll see if it works. I'll have to make 2 fluttercraft. I only got 1 bloody painted, so I'll get them out of the box.
Well, you don't have to paint them. Like, well,
this is true.
You can play with unpainted models. Ask Ollie.
He's painted with sleeves, isn't it?
Yeah.
Go on then, Andy. Why don't you tell us what you would do as a list then? I'm currently trying to figure out what I'm not saying what I would do, but I'm trying to bring up my MKGT.
Well, I want to now fit into ISPs on my list.
You're a psychopath.
Yeah. Well, I don't know, because after Cardiff, Lila and Nav were talking about running out Cody ISPs as well. So it's not just me.
I did try it against somebody recently. Just the ISP and Cody. It's a nice interaction. However, I literally just substituted Obi Wan out and put Cody in an ISP. So it's the exact same list.
I think they were talking about having the observe pilot on the ISPs. So after they make an attack, they gain an observe token.
It's the only pilot you can take.
Yeah. But then that pairs well with Cody's command cards, because then all of the attack. So you put observe tokens on the first units for the first time with the first beam attack. Then the second beam attack happens, and they're all suppressive. And then but if Cody goes first, then both of the ISP attacks can be suppressive because you've got enough observe tokens out due to Cody.
Okay, that's an interesting interaction. I like that.
It was basically that was the logic, and all of Cody's abilities is 1 pip and his 3 pip are about having observe tokens to spend. So by having the observe tokens going off of the beam attacks, it was like that was what they're building the list around. So it's literally 2 command cards.
It may work.
It could work.
It could work.
Yeah, and I mean, if anyone's going to make a weird list, it's Lila.
Well, sorry?
If anyone's going to make a weird list work, it's Lila, really, isn't it? So
it's very niche, isn't she? I still think you'd need like a melee threat with 5s and a shotgun.
Yeah, I mean, you've got loads more points. ISPs aren't expensive. So, but I think the intention is you sit and have them as a range 4 POI grabber. So you don't move them forward or anything. You just have them at the back, scooting around. But yeah, keep them out of danger. But I didn't build an ISP list as much as I wish I had done now. But I did build a Cody list. And I've still got 8 points, which I was trying to figure out where to put. So I've just got a naked Cody at the moment, which I think running him as bare as possible or with Hunter is probably an option. Because 105, I think, is too expensive for him. He needs to come down, so keep him as cheap as possible. We've got Bad Batch in there because Bad Batch are good, and I had loads of points spare, and I needed a heavy hitting unit, which is what they are. Mm-hmm. We've then got Z6 unit of not phase ones; they're just clone troopers these days. With Boyle, just because we can use Cody's 2 pip, and that'll pair well. We've got Waxer because I had some spare points and I didn't know what I couldn't fit anything else in, so I've got a Z6 unit with Waxer in it, and he does come with Scout, so it's an extra body with Scout. If he receives an order, you remove a suppression as well. So there is some kind of little thing in there, but not much. I'll keep it. I'll be polite about it, but it was just I didn't have enough points for a new unit, so it was kind of like
you could get a medic, I suppose, if you think it's useful to heal Cody.
Yeah, that's it. Like you can swap out a medic for Waxer, but then is Scout better than a single wound to get a unit of Z6 up the board trying to shoot turn 1? The other thing, are these more? Are they it's not RPS. Have they got rid of the DLT?
DC-15 does exist. No,
DLT doesn't play.
You
only have more to Z6 shotgun. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, I was thinking, where's the range 4 option? Where's the range 4?
The RPS.
So then for my third core infantry unit, we've gone for the 5s medic shotgun approach. So as many models as we can without being a mega squad. Mainly because when I played you, James, it was scary. And it's not just the range 2 shotgun or the melee; it's also the range 3 is really good.
It really is.
8 black, your version is, isn't it?
8 black, and if you've got surges lying around, which you will do, it surges.
So you've got one yourself. You're going to share one, or you can share an aim, or it's a really good, consistent dice pool.
Well, I run in with if we have 3 surges available because you've got aggressive tactics. So
yep. There you go. So it's even better for you. So I took that from you. I probably should put E-gear on there because it helps stop them being slowed down or anything like that.
It was quite useful in the game against you, definitely.
Yeah, because it helps you get to the middle, didn't it?
Through that piece of terrain, yeah.
Yeah. I've then got obviously the 2 most popular things going at the moment, which is ARC Troopers with clone commanders in them still. I've not taken a single commando for no reasons other than I'm a masochist in this list. I've then taken a lone naked bark speeder, and the logic for this is it will receive an order every single turn from Cody with his direct, which probably means I need a long range comlink on it to make sure this idea works, which helps spend these last couple of points.
Are you thinking why not do a relay? No.
No, it's so that it can receive an order every turn, is so that you can always control where it dives. With 3 speed-free moves and the size of its base, it should be able to jump from POI to POI very quickly and easily. So if you've got the missions where you only need to contest, having your bark kind of scoot off and grab one at the back away from your opponent is quite safe. And because you're at 10 activations as well with this list, it enables it to just kind of scoot and go and grab something. Or if you're playing them ones where you can dive and still score, it doesn't matter, in the intercept the signal one, you can nominate the bark, hold it back, last thing to go every turn, and it's safe, or you can go first of it, last first of it, to kind of keep moving it around. So it's not a damage output, it's just a 65 point objective kind of thing. And if it does join the firefight, it's rolling 4 dice. Yeah, that's fine. And if someone wants to put the effort into killing that, then I think that's also fine, because then it's not killing the rest of your army. And then the last thing is 2 ATRTs with ATRT laser cannons, because again, we need some vehicles. If we've got Cody, we need to synergize. It gives Bad Batch something to hide behind if you want to, or 5 something to hide behind as he walks up. So yeah, there's a bit of synergy in there.
How many acts was it?
10 activations in total, 992, because I've still got 8 points that I'm just trying to fill in, which I think long range comms and stuff for direct or whatever will be.
Well, we'll say that's yours, and I'll pit it against. I've got a 10-1 as well, and I'm noticing that in fact there's no Jedi here. I've gone the same.
Jedi.
No, I've gone the same. And I literally made this today because I've gone through a little thing now where I'm just like, before bed, I was like, I'll make a list just for fun, do something new and see what I can come up with. This is what I came up with, and then we can see what the differences are. Rex, Rex, R2D2, the Bad Batch, because they're good, and you are right. They're I wouldn't say that they're not OP, but they're just really bloody good at the moment, so they'll be good. 2 infantry with a Z6 and a medic. 2 infantry with a DP 23 and extra man. 2 naked arcs, and then a big freaking tank. The Saber with Iota Secura, the beam, and the emergency transponder. And that's 10 activations at 995. I've got 5 points spare that I'll find somewhere. Probably a transponder maybe on R2 or C's. How much is C's these days?
It's 5.
It's 5.
There you go. C's on 5 on R2. So yeah. Except in where you were talking about having the ATRTs as cover, mine is thinking as the tank, pop out, shoot, go back again, that sort of thing. I also think that Rex with his take that clankers, upping the 2 squads of the DP23 guys from range 2 to range 3, so giving you a range 3 shotgun pierce, I think is pretty cool. And then if you need to, you can give it to the Z6 instead. It's up to you which one you give to. Arcs there for melee, tanks there because the tanks. I don't think the tank is poor. I think it's just it's not popular, and I can understand why. But I had fun with it when I was at MKGT, and I think the way it can be a mobile line of sight blocker for the Bad Batch and R2D2.
What turn are you playing Take That Clankers?
You know what? I think honestly, it's a really good question, and I think it's probably turn 2. Maybe turn 3.
Because my issue with that is with what you're trying to sell it to me as.
I
think Take That Clankers is really good at the moment.
It is, yeah.
The shotgun range 3 is quite televised.
And
it's
not disagreeing, but the wonderful bonus is it's because it can go on Bad Batch as well. And it can go on. It's quite flexible. I could go. You know what? Here's an ARC trooper to go do some stuff. Or I don't think you would use it there, but or you give it to a Z6. Sorry, and just say there's some range 4 on all of everything there. Or you can give it to the Bad Batch, and the Bad Batch can sort of pull back, take a shot, pull back again, and then they're out of range themselves and they're out of danger. Do you see if that makes sense?
Yes, but you
so
did
when
wrong,
you do
yes.
so when you do turn 1 you're not normally, but like turn 1 everyone likes to do. If the Bad Batch players will go Bad Batch card bang down, give them all the freaking tokens in turn 1, bring them on when they want to come on, unless they've already been Captain Rexed in terms of his scout party, that sort of thing. We do what we do, let them do what they do, play their card, do whatever you can damage wise. And then in turn 2, you could take that clankers on them, pull them back. They get the triggers there. What is it? Not tactical. What's it called? Not relentless. Steady.
Steady.
Thank you. Trigger steady, and then pull back again. Then you've potentially, hopefully, moved them either out of range or behind a big freaking tank where there's line of sight going, no, you're not getting me.
But you can't increase. But what are they benefiting from Take That Clankers?
First, right?
Yeah.
They get their range. Their range goes up.
Only if you take an aim action.
You got to take an aim action.
Oh, so you can aim, move back, and then move them back. So, yeah. I mean, there you go. There's the logic. So move back slightly out of range, that sort of thing, or move behind a line of sight blocker. Sorry.
The one thing I don't like is the naked arcs for me.
Yeah,
I need something on that.
They're just they're more of a melee. The idea would be that they are a melee backline. Central defensive midfielder, linebacker, if you will. They're my Monsters Caicedo. They're more N'Golo Kante. They sit at the back as the melee counter. So any Jedi that decides to go, I had someone like say Anakin decides to go hello there and turn up. Oh, he wouldn't say hello there, but you know what I mean. He turns up in the back lines, and the arcs go smack.
I don't know. After running, so I took Riot Troopers to Cardiff, and they performed as well as I probably expected them to do, which was nothing.
Expect nothing, and you'll be happy if you expect something.
Yeah, the only game they did so well in was my first game, which unfortunately wasn't it was against someone who it was a brand new player, and they managed to. I won the roll off on a 1-pip versus Vader's Implacable. I just wanted to punch him to do some wounds. I ended up killing him because he only had 3 wounds left.
Oh.
So I felt really bad because the guy. He brought an ATST to have fun. He brought Vader to have fun, and brought Palpatine to have fun. I killed the ATST turn 1.
You horrible bastard!
I then nuked Palpatine turn 2, and then he. In the meantime, I'm also dealing wounds to Vader at the same time.
What's your name? Ollie. That's horrible.
Yeah. He then played Implacable, which into my cunning 1-pip from Krennic. Oh. So I went first, pulled a trooper. I went right troopers, double move, go and punch. I just wanted to punch with, and I just literally everything he wanted to do that was fun. I was like, no. And I apologized. I was like, oh, I'm so sorry. I should let you have fun. He was like, no, it's fine. But other than that game, they don't. I brought them for linebacking reasons, but they're not enough of a deterrent to scare someone. Like 4 black 2 red is not going to scare an Anakin. It's not even going to scare an Obi who can't even who hits like a wet noodle. And 8 black from arcs. Okay,
I was about to say the dice pool is different.
It's different, but the logic's the same because it's 8 black, and if you get the counter charge and you're on full health because you've sat behind a thing for the rest of the game, waiting for my Vader to charge in or something, 8 black with 2 aims is okay into a Vader or another Force user. It's not going to be enough to make me not do it.
Mm-hmm.
I think if there's a commander in there, and that's now 10 black dice with a surge and 2 aims,
yep,
the average is now looking a lot scarier because that's looking at 4 to 5 wounds on Vader.
What if it is call me captain in melee because you've got Rex nearby? It turns into 10 to 8. There's 8 black, 3 red.
Yeah, I mean, of course, that's always an option, but that's more of Magical Christmas Land, really, isn't it? Like, that card's always a threat to any melee person, and you've got to be in range 2 of Rex. Mm-hmm. And if I've got a choice between diving an arc unit and Rex, I'm probably going to just kill Rex to stop that card.
And he's only 5 health.
And he doesn't, and he's not impervious.
No,
so,
he dies.
He dies.
So, and also, those arcs are just going to sit behind a line of sight blocker and not do anything. If you're the DC 15, on the other hand, they can still put 2 guys out and shoot something.
So what are you suggesting? Take the full squad down?
I'd get rid of R2. He's rubbish.
Oh, I'd get rid of him. That.
Yeah, get rid of him.
He's
I just think it's too hard to put.
He's in a tough spot. Even when his flipping infiltrate, it's just.
I think the Church of Podfree said the other day on the Discord channel in his new little church choir section he's got that I think it takes 4 turns for him to be able to score. So he infiltrates and then moves, for him to get to a deployment zone. So that and that's with using his.
I have the conversation piece from him. Our Lord and Savior Podfree. I'll quote what he says. He says,
"Go on,
"Oh, can we start a campaign to bring R2 back into the game? One, these are his suggestions as to what he should be. He basically offers suggestions. The secret mission can only be scored around 4 or 5."
That's what he's getting at though. He can only score turn 4 if he plays his 1-pip, isn't it, where he gets blast off or whatever it is, or round 5 he can't score it because then without it, because you've got to start the turn to score secret mission. So you've already got to be in the deployment zone. You can't get to it turn 5. So yeah, if you're not basically about to hit it, it's too late.
Oh my god! I've just seen what I could do. I've just seen what I should do instead. Take R2 out and put two repair. What they called engineers.
Yeah.
But then you lose an activation. Believe me.
But then, as a slight tangent,
actually game points.
I do think bounty hunters might be more viable as a hot take, which is not really helpful for GAR players in this list building episode.
No, not really.
But as a slight tangent, I think the logic for it is a very short piece, and hopefully I can find some. I'll put some games into it to prove it. I saw a lot of games at Hemel with higher end players and at Cardiff are lost by very small margins, where it's usually 1 VP, 2 VP here. So, for instance, I was looking at Dave Grant's reason he lost to someone at Hemel. He lost by 1 VP because they scored with the secondary 1 turn earlier, and Dave was never able to rescore it. So therefore, if you take that kind of logic and have a bounty hunter, that 1 VP gets you that's 1 edge. Yes, the VP difference is larger, so they have less impact. But in the tighter games, and I found this as well, where a game is a lot tighter, it's usually you're chasing 1 VP here or there between the two of you. That bounty actually probably is more viable than we're talking about. But as I say, not helpful for GAR players.
No, I have got something helpful for GAR players. I've really been considering taking the strike team out of my list that I mentioned earlier and putting Padme back in.
What are you doing?
Logic?
Padme.
For the same logic, though.
The same list. So just take the strike team out for 63, balance some points, and then put Padme in there. 10 still.
Just so she can run off and go and do the objective.
Yeah. Only because 3 games, like you said, it came down to kill points.
Mm-hmm.
If I had a Padme that I could just run at somebody into the end zone, then that's just that extra VP.
Counterpoint.
I'm not saying it's good. I'm just saying it's something that I want to try.
Counterpoint. No cover. No cover and white saves.
But then, so
at range, she's got backup, right? And she's got Obi-Wan too, and Guardian, and Barrier.
But I don't think you want to run her near your army. I think you want to run her as like a if you are going to do this, because I think you're following the same kind of logic of why to run her. If you're all deploying, say, I don't know, towards the right hand side of the map for whatever reason, or slightly more right jointed, you'd throw her as far left as possible, because it's going to take your opponent more than, what is she these days? Is she 65 points? 60 points. It's going to take your opponent more than 60 points to kill her. So if it pulls, say, 120 points out of your opponent's list to go and deal with her, then has she done her job?
I don't know if... I don't know. I think you can match that because she's not got a great weapon. She's only got a range...
Not about the weapon.
No. But she's not got the defensive tech, really. Oh, she's agile. Actually, hang on. No, actually, sorry. I'm re-looking at her card going, oh, she's got agile and nimble now these days. So maybe...
So she's agile. She's got 2 dodges every turn.
Mm-hmm.
So again, come back to me with that.
Yeah, I want to try.
I was going to say
the difference between her and R2 is huge, because that speed 2, speed 1 difference is big.
Yeah.
So maybe on the list I've just put forward to you, then I take out R2 and put Padme in, and then she runs behind the tank all game.
Because in the version I took to Sheffield, you didn't have R2 in that list, did you?
Oh,
because me and you had very similar lists, didn't we?
No, the one I took to Sheffield, it was Padme still. I just never scored it in the end. We were very similar lists, I think. I'm not sure.
I had R2 instead of Padme, I think.
Oh, did you? Oh, yeah, you did. Yeah.
And we was like, oh, let's know, because we were both like, oh, which one's better?
And yeah, she just didn't move, and she just, did
quick thinking the whole time. Yeah,
she can't do quick thinking anymore. She hasn't got that as an action.
But
it's sad.
But I was having R2 for the secret mission approach to leg him across the board, and that weekend he did win me a game with secret mission on that logic. So I think if you took,
I still think Padme does that better. because she's speed 2.
Yeah, and the nimble
and I think,
agile.
With how far is it away from them? If she infiltrated, or if she's in about her deployment, how many speeds is it away?
Okay, so you start at range 1.5, which is 9 inches. And then your opponent's deployment zone is also 9 inches. That's 18 out of a 4-foot board, which is 12, 24, 36, 48. So you got 30 inches to cross. Is that right?
9 inches. Is that just 2 full activations of speed? Well, 2 activations of 2 double moving, right?
It'll be an activate if you're double moving activation 6, 12. Yeah, 3 turns. Yeah. So you should be able to score on turn 3. Start of turn 4, you'd score because you don't score turn 3. You're in their deployment zone at the end of turn 3 to score start of turn 4.
Right. Yeah. I still think she's a lot more viable if you start moving her later.
Yeah, because you've got a turn there to play with, so you could score at turn 5.
Yeah.
But then one missed time though, you're screwed.
It'd be situational.
True. I mean, but how many games? The first question would be to ask: how many games of yours went to turn 5?
For me in that last tournament, I think all but 2.
Okay,
all but 2, because my list is very good at attrition, so I had to get all of them down to turn 5 if I was to win, and a lot of them went down to kill points.
The 2 that didn't, was that because they were over beforehand, or just it ran out of time?
Oh, it's pure I just sniped them off the board, and then with Toby, it ended turn 4 because he's lost Anakin, he lost too many guys, and I was
just a concession, So
it was the ones with the Ewok players, and I think those could have been really useful just to have Padme just to get that VP, and it's something for them to worry about too.
Yeah, I think that would be a sensible change to try. And it's just how you approach it and how you deploy her, I think, for her to then start legging it safely across the board.
This is so true. Yeah.
I'm coming up with something for you that is just going to be hilarious in a second, and I'll save it at the end. No, it's just. I would like to stress, not serious at all, but it would be just a bit fun. So I'm just going to chuck it and create it while take just 2 seconds.
Are we going to talk about the thing we've not talked about so far deliberately? Of list building.
Do we need to talk about Anakin 5 first?
Cool. No, we're done.
It's still relevant. It's taken its hits, but it's just. I think everyone might be fed up of seeing it. Yeah,
there we go. Just so people don't think that we're deliberately not making them lists.
No, we're being hip and cool.
Other types you can build.
Yep.
Which I think is now viable. I think if this was pre-points change, this would be a not sensible conversation to be having.
I've got something for you now. Here's the funny thing I thought. Now, getting in mind, you were having a conversation earlier about ISPs being a line of sight blockers and quite nippy and all this sort of stuff.
Yeah.
This is where I've gone. Cody, nothing on him. I could stick scopes. I've got 9 points spare. I've just literally made this on the fly. It's 10 activations. Cody, Bad Batch, Padme, R2 with an HQ uplink. Clone Trooper Infantry, Boyle and a Medic. Sorry, that should be actually Clone Trooper Infantry, Boyle and a Medic. 2 Clone Trooper Infantry with a Captain and Engineer, and triple ISPs with the pilots, twin blasters, and the link target array. And I've got 15 points to spare. So it's like just run the ISPs and hide everything behind it, and just go. And here I am.
There's nothing on the other side of it, though.
What's that?
It's just going to die.
I mean, I just like to say it's there for
James isn't on this podcast all the time, But his face in some of these, when you're reading out your list, has been amazing. I'm glad we now record this and you should go and watch it. Yeah, it wasn't during this one; it was the other one where he read out his list. Your eyes like glazed over, and it was just like.
I keep forgetting it's recorded.
Oh, it's perfect and amazing in every single way.
Well, I'm going to say
is like your eyes were glazing over at Cockles' list, and I was just like, "This is how me and Ollie feel all the time."
What I'm going to say is, last time Ollie dissed one of my lists, he went and lost to me and had a song that sung after him. That's all I'm going to say.
Okay, well, happily bring that along to the next one, Cockles. Because even with my current,
I'm not going to bring that one. That was just me having it up for absolute lols. But I might try the tank with Padme running behind as the I'm going to quickly get a secret mission thing. And because it's tank, it's still 10 activations. It's tank and Bad Batch. Bad Batch hard to shift, and the tank it's got that's a dual threat, and the tank with the beam cannon is sticking out one big shot and then two plinky things, which is not to be sniffed at because it's just as you were saying about attrition, James. The thing that's good with the tank is the commandos. It's just like, okay, sure, I'm not going to shoot the big shot into the commandos. I'm just going to take pot shots with the beams and just go, there's a wound, roll and save that. There's a wound, roll and try and save that sort of thing. I'm not saying he's going to win. I'm just saying it's like that's the tactic. And then you've still got Bad Batch who still do clever things and all that kind of stuff.
I would say the counter to any beam weapon is Obi Wan. It means nothing. These beams doesn't matter, mate.
Yeah, that's fair.
I'm yet to be sold on beam completely because it relies on a lot of opponents keeping the units at range 1. Clones still do that. Rebels don't. Empire don't. CIS, maybe they do.
Not anymore, because they all want B2s.
They really need B2s, yeah. So I'm still not sold on beam actually being decent. I'd like to be proven wrong, but
it did all right. It did all right at MKGT, but I just took that again, no practice, and just went, yeah, that'll do, and it was fun. It was fun. I know.
Yeah, but when I asked you on day 2 how you were getting on, and you was like, "Oh, this list is awful. Wish I'd never brought it."
Did I? I don't think I said that.
You were like,
I said it was awful it's awful, but I'm having fun.
Well, I didn't say you weren't having fun because that's the only thing you know how to do, Cockles. But
say, don't try hard, don't have any expectations. It's all fun.
Yeah,
but no, I think that it's worth investigating and seeing what goes on with it. And indeed, there will be. We haven't even touched on Yoda. And you say he's unplayable. I had that as an initial take, and then I'm thinking, right, now we just need to think of new ways to use him instead.
There is none.
I think he's dead.
Don't get me wrong. I'm not enthusiastic about
170 points for nothing.
I'm not enthusiastic about him. Don't get me wrong, but I'm trying to think: is there a way that, as Jeff said, I'm just quoting Jeff. It just takes time for things to think about new ways of using, if that makes sense.
Guidance is ruined. I don't.
Yeah.
He just you can't play him. Anything that he was good with now. I mean, half the reason why I used to take him in the old version is for guidance all the time. Yeah,
100%.
I can't. Well, that needs to be reverted.
Yeah, I completely agree, but it's just I'm just trying to, like I say, trying to think of new ways. And is it a case that maybe he is, and the problem is again, he is. Are you going to spend 170 points plus force powers on an expensive support piece?
Anakin's the same price, though. Anakin's the same price. I can't get over it.
The only thing Yoda does better than Anakin is Yoda hits more consistently.
Yeah, and I'd argue the order control is probably slightly better as well.
For one turn.
That's why I said. That's why I said slightly.
Well, 2 turns if you got when you recycle the card.
But he doesn't have tempted though. Tempted's so broken.
Yeah, and you don't get the extra white dice on the.
No, you don't. No. And you can saber throw that as well for fun.
Yeah, that is quite funny. I still like that.
Here's a thought. Is it worth him running him as a 190 force barrier with burst of speed. And
Everyone does it better.
Obi does it 10 times better. I think this is Yoda's problem now because he can either be a beat stick, which Anakin does for cheaper. He can be a support piece and keep things alive, which Anakin does. Obi does for cheaper.
Does better,
Or you just run him as an objective thing. Oh wait, you can't because there are no objectives to interact with.
His whole function in a list has gone. 100%.
The only saving grace between him and Palpatine is Palpatine's one still works. Guidance doesn't there's no benefit to it now apart from all right, I can move my Wookiees up the board quicker still, yay, but I'm spending 170 points to do that.
I'm not again stress
and to keep Yoda in range of your Wookiees or arcs to help them move even quicker across the board. You've got to take Rex to scouting party Yoda up the board quicker. So now, not only have I spent 170 points with no upgrades, I've also spent another 95 points to make my 170 points relevant. Which I didn't mind doing because before I was going to take Yoda, Rex, and Bad Batch. That was going to be what I was going to start practicing for Worlds.
Same. I was all about the Yoda, Rex, Bad Batch.
Yeah. I wonder if Chewie and Yoda has any play at all. Just because they have that one command card that makes Chewie unkillable.
Oh, the red deflect,
Yeah, and they can swing through dodges. I mean, that's the only thing that I can think may still work.
So what, you play that turn 2, and you can yeet Yoda into melee, essentially, but you can't attack that turn. But then
I'm just clutching at stuff here.
You're not wrong, but I mean, it's 260 points with 0 upgrades. So I spent a quarter of my army to do that.
Yeah.
Poor Yoda. Poor
Yoda. I'd take a Wookiee chieftain over anything else. And that's the other thing. A Wookiee chieftain's cheaper than Yoda.
Yeah.
And is probably a scarier melee threat.
Yeah.
Would you, again, I'm just trying to play devil's advocate. I'm just trying to see, would you consider a Yoda and Chewbacca thing? Because then you can get Yoda up the board really quickly. And you were saying about beat sticks.
Did we just have this conversation?
We literally just...
I've muted for 5 minutes.
My brain might have just completely glossed over something. Then I'm trying to think there. Would you? But no. Would you consider it? I'm just
no. Short answer. No. No on Yoda front for Commander.
I think it's really difficult for clones at the moment because everyone keeps saying they keep running the same things, arcs, commandos. It's because the other stuff just isn't good. The Saber Tank isn't good enough. Cody's not good enough. Yoda's now not good enough. Padme is hit or miss. R2's not playable. I feel like we're just waiting for the next unit to drop, really.
We also haven't even said the LAT.
Don't even need to.
Yeah.
Don't even have that.
Joe Austin will be upset if we don't mention it, but there we go.
Yeah, Joe will be very upset.
Yep. We touched on Commandos, but we didn't say about Delta Squad now. I don't think there's any. Just that extra 15 points over. It's just. Now,
I think there is a place for Delta now.
If you were to use one commando, I think just one maybe by
or
itself.
501st because they could only take 2, can't they?
Oh yeah, I suppose. Yeah. I think they're the 2 situations.
Yeah.
And we said about Barks. You taking swoop bikes? It's like everyone's going.
I just think speeders are just really awful, especially when the 2 model units, because as soon as you lose one bike, the other's useless. Barks at least keep their dice pool, I suppose, for a little while longer.
I would rather take Fluttercrafts in a Gar army.
I think I would too.
Yep, I think so. I'm just trying to see. And then we've got the ATRTs there. I mean, the ATRTs have got a place if you're going to do. It depends what you're doing with something with them. I think an ATRT with a flamer has a place, but it's a situational.
An ATRT is quite solid at the moment with the laser cannon. Both for rebels and
plinky damage.
It's the plinky, but also like you've got your scout move, so you can walk on, you can aim and shoot turn 1 with a range 4 weapon. Turn 2, you can move forward onto your home POI. That's yours, and you can just sit there and fire away. And for your opponent to shoot back at you at range 4, they've got to have impact. Otherwise, they're just fishing for crits and your red saves, especially your red saves for Gar.
Which is quite big actually. I feel a little bit for the rebels on that one.
So I think they're quite safe, good home objective grabbers. And if they're still alive later in, you can just double move and they're quite fast because of the size of the base to grab another objective if needed.
Yeah.
The only thing is, commandos are so good. The same slot. But
it's the points difference. So I think that's what makes it interesting now. That I think, but previously there was never a contention in you would take commandos over, like you'd never take an ATRT because it was the same cost or it wasn't much point difference.
Yeah.
But an ATRT with a laser cannon is only 70 points, where a naked commandos is 90. And that's before you add your HQ uplink or any other upgrades you add to them as well. So now, if you put a HQ uplink on them commandos, you're looking at a 30-point difference. So if I take 2 ATRTs versus 2 clone commandos, now that's 60 points. Now that's a unit of clone troopers I can take. That's an activation difference. Now we're talking. So I think there's an argument for it now, where definitely previously you wouldn't even think twice about it.
I think if you are going to go down the ATRT route, you could try and get to 11 or 12 acts.
Yeah.
To make it more solid, because I just don't think they do enough at 10 acts. I don't think you could run it with 10.
You've got to be making the most of that point difference, yeah.
I think so, yeah. I think, you may persuade me, Andy. Maybe. Away from the commandos, maybe.
My current track record, mate, I'm going to persuade you, and it's going to be the worst decision you've ever made in your life.
To end on a little Republic section, I've got a list, and this will remain anonymous from who this is in, and I'm going to tell you what's in it. So, ready? It's 9 activations, 1,000 points. Cody with aggressive tactics, and then another clone commander. Core, which has 5s, and a clone infantry squad. So, big squad with 5s. Excuse me, and environmental gear. Clone troopers with Waxer, clone troopers with Boyle, and then 2 infantry with an engineer, and then 2 saber tanks.
2 saber tanks.
1 with the veteran pilot, high energy shells, armor piercing shells, and link target array. The other with Iola Sakura, who, by the way, I think she's pretty handy these days. It's I think an extra inspire where Inspire is hard to get in Republic is pretty handy. High energy shells, armor piercing, and link target array. I'm not going to say who that is. Just who do you reckon? No, not who do you reckon. What do you reckon, boys? 9 activations as well.
Cockles, stop sending in lists.
So it's not me. It's not me. I promise you. It's not me. I'm not daft enough to go double saber. That would be Tom Smith. Give you that one.
How many activations is that coming at?
9.
So basically, the biggest issue I have with that list is
go on.
It's the 2 clone engineers.
It doesn't matter.
The tanks are hard enough to kill as it is.
Without maneuver as well. Yeah.
I would rather drop the engineers. And instead of that naked squad doing nothing, give them a portable scanner so they can just chuck dodges on the tanks to make them even more harder to kill. It was work on any unit.
I thought there was just a trooper unit, but that's
any unit.
Anything will do.
I don't know if it's good. It's something. It exists.
It exists. It's out there in the world.
Well, very, very political there, Jay.
All I'm going to say is I would like Tom to run that in a video. Do you know what? I think
very pretty.
I think we'll wrap up our Republicathon on this one. If you have any thoughts and queries on what we've said about Republics and the stuff today, please feel free to talk to us on our Discord, messages and comment on the posts on Facebook and stuff like that, which is all gravy, man. We'll move on to we'll do events first next. So because Andy exists, so events.
So the next event I am running will be the Nottingham GT, and I'm going to go to Legion Events app.
Legion Events app
to double check the date of that, because I know it's in January, and
it's like the 16th, 18th, or something like that.
11th and 12th of January.
Oh,
so if you are after a nice Christmas present, and you want to go to an event early, then look at asking for that for Father Christmas if you've been a good boy. If you've not been a good boy and you are not allowed to go out and play in January, then look at buying your Chopper Base Open ticket instead, because there is an early bird special going on. So anyone who purchases tickets between when the tickets first went on sale and December the 31st, we've currently got 2 sponsors offering out prizes for anyone who buys their ticket before December the 31st. We have already sold a quarter, and that is over 32 tickets, by the way, which is stupid when I say it like that. Because when you say like a quarter, you're like, oh, there's loads left. And I'm like, that's still 32, which is nearly the first year's attendance, which is crazy. We had 52 people the first year, and we've already sold out the same amount in pre-orders this year. Crazy times. But yeah, that's obviously later in the year, which is 16th and 17th of August, and that is being held in Peterborough. Otherwise, get to it.
Get on it.
Otherwise, the Milton Key monthly events will return in January, because I do not run one in December.
Everyone needs his time off now and again.
I do get a month off now and again. But otherwise, I think that's it on my front. I was just having a look around. There is events at Alpha this weekend.
Yes, Alpha this weekend, which was going to normally Alpha do a nice friendly everyone's a newbie tournament, but all of a sudden people are descending. No, but that'll be good fun either way, because it'll be a good learning experience for many people.
If you are further north, there is also a tournament at the Outpost in Sheffield. That is also on Saturday the 7th. I believe it's a kind of 2-dayer, but the looks of it, actually, 7th to the 8th. Yep. But they're using a store kit, the Ahsoka ones, which are really hard to get hold of. And they've got some really cool acrylic-y, glossy commandos and Ahsoka in it, I think. The higher up you place.
Yep.
And then I think Justin's got his Life Day Massacre in the 18th and 19th of January as well.
Cool. There is also 14th of December, Darkfire in St Albans. It's got an event going on down there.
Did I miss that?
Saturday. I don't know why, mate. I just know it's there. I just know it's there because it's down south near my way. I don't know if I'll be able to go. My wife's going out, and she's like, "No, you can't go out in the day and then going out in the evening because I've got my work Christmas do in Colchester having a curry that night as well." So there we go. It's me literally like, you can't go out twice. Like, okay, fair play. So yeah, there's many events on there. If you want to know how to get your event on there, wherever you are in the globe, be it Australia, Canada, New Zealand, England, France, Germany, wherever, you may go to legionevents.app, and there is a link on there, and it tells you how you can do it. And Jeff and Elliot will sort that out and make it happen and stuff. Other things on there, I won't do it now, but we'll do an update for the Charity NFL League, because that's coming to a close soon in the end of December. I think it's safe to say Andy, Ollie, and Jack will not be having any money donated to the charity of choice. I'm in with a shout. We'll see what happens. I don't think I'm going to win it, but I think one of the Stabcast, That's No Moon America, will be winning it. One of those guys, I think. What else is going on? Obviously, this will be our penultimate show of the year. The next show will be will be recorded on the 17th of December, and will be our Christmas fun time special thing that we did. If you remember that, we had that last year. It was actually really good fun. We had a couple of patrons on. I say a couple. We had, what was it? There was 1,
12.
2,
It was crazy.
12. It was crazy. It was 12 of us. And it was really, really fun.
It
we're
was.
Going to replicate that, and I've made arrangements that one of our first patrons who supported us is going to be on, and it's not Haslam, it's Norwich College, Mr. Reese Giffen in the States, who is our first non-English supporter, might well be on, which could be awesome if you can. Other than that, that's the show for today. James?
Whilst I'm on here, I wanted to say that Jose, who hosted the Welsh GT, is running about a tournament every month in Firestorm in South Wales. So it's all on the Firestorm Battlefields website. He's got a friendly tournament and then a competitive one and a friendly one every single month from January to June-ish or May time. So if you're down in that area, look on Firestorm website and get involved, guys. Nice to see you there.
Well, so when I say goodbye to people, I say, "Is there anyone you'll shout out?" You just totally preempted it, and it worked out well there.
Sorry.
No, you just because you listened to the show a lot, you knew that was going to happen. James, if people want to contact you about your list and talk to you about having a game of Legion or whatever down Somerset way, how might they be able to do it if you want them to, without them having to go to a doctor?
Definitely don't come to see me in the same hospital I live.
Triple one. Can I speak to James, please? What about? I just want to discuss my list building, please.
Kenobi dice failed me, you bastard.
Yeah.
If you want to contact me, I'm not a doctor. If you want to contact me, it's James White, and I'm on Facebook. I need to get on Discord. I'm probably on Discord. I think it's James RG1 or something like that. I'm on Discord. I might be on the That's No Moon Discord now. I'm a patron.
Well, you should be, because there's an automatic link on how to do it. It should be, but if not, I'll send you the link in a bit. Andy, if people want to contact you, how do they do it?
They can drop me an email at Andy@that'snomoonpodcast.com. Yes.
How long has he said take it the first time? He's done it for the first time there.
Or you can grab me on Discord, AJST, or Facebook, or any usual dog corner munching website.
Dogcornermunchingwebsite.com. Yes, I'm going to look that up.
Just embrace it. It's the best way.
Yeah, it's the way to roll. Obviously, if you have questions about events and stuff like that, speak to Andy. If you have questions, and because Tom is, as I said a few weeks ago, Tom's going to be starting up recording some battle reports now that he is.
Once I get him the gear back.
Well, there is that as well.
Which has been great because I recorded Cardiff.
Yeah, exactly. But, so he'll be starting to record some stuff back up now that his child is slightly older and he has a bit more free time. They've adapted their life. He knows what's going on, how to change a nappy, how to keep a human alive, that kind of thing. Contact him, Tom at that'snomoonpodcast.com. Tom at that'snomoonpodcast.com on the emails. And if you have video suggestions, you can go to him as well. As I said earlier, there'll be some videos coming out soon from Jack about how to paint the sleeper cell and how to paint the riot squad, which we saw some secret shots and they look pretty cool because Jack's a damn fine painter. He's a damn fine man. I'm Cockles. You can contact me, Cockles Faulkner, at that'snomoonpodcast.com about some sponsorship stuff. Ollie and I are working together on that some stuff. Or general queries. If you want help, if you want me to us to try and help you find games or players in your local area, you can contact us and we can try and see if we can hook you up with some people in your vicinity. That is not a problem. So this is a shout out for people in York. If you are in York, shout out for you. We want to hear from you because there's some people in York who want to play and they need to know where and all this sorts of stuff. Lastly, yeah, that's it. Andy, have I forgotten anything? No. James,
sounds
anything?
good.
No, never forgot anything. No, that's fine. No. You've been listening to That's No Moon, a Star Wars Legion podcast. I've been joined by Andy and James. Thank you. Say goodbye, boys.
Goodbye.
Goodbye. I've been Cockles. Thank you very much for listening. Goodbye. You've been listening to That's No Moon, a Star Wars Legion podcast. To keep up to date with us, please like and follow us on Facebook, That's No Moon, a Star Wars Legion podcast, and Instagram, That's No Moon Podcast.